Welcome to Face Forward, the podcast, the series that takes you behind the scenes of the riveting world of clinical trial management. I am your host, Valerie Coveney, and I am thrilled to be your guide on this journey through the nuances of planning, executing, and navigating the clinical research landscape. We have the pleasure of introducing a distinguished clinical research coordinator with an impressive 25 years of experience in the clinical research environment. In this episode, we will explore the effects of seasonality on dermatology clinical trial patients, focusing on four main points: effects on skin, lifestyle restrictions, study design, and finally, patient retention. Let's extend a warm welcome to Nadine Clervoix, clinical research coordinator at Innovaderm.
Thank you for the invitation, Valerie.
So Nadine, let's lay it out for our listeners. How can the change in seasons affect the skin?
So our skin prefers moderate temperatures instead of weather extremes. Our skin thrives on consistency. So when the temperature shifts with the season, it can disrupt our skin barrier. So when we go from hot to cold weather, the cold weather is much drier. There's exposure to indoor eating, hot showers. When there's less moisture in the air, our skin cannot keep up with the proper hydration it needs. It can lead to a range of dermatological issues, including the inflammation, some dryness, some clogged pores, and the blocked pores are due by the excess skin or the serum production. On the other hand, when we go from cold to hot weather, the main impact of hot weather, there's actually two impacts. Number one, it's we sweat more. And number two, our skin is exposed to the UV radiation. And we know that UV radiation improves the skin. There's several inflammatory diseases that go better when the weather is warmer.
So a common assumption in dermatology is that there is a positive influence of the sun on psoriasis. Is there any truth to that?
There is. The main impact of sun and psoriasis is the exposure to UVB radiation, right? So the vast majority of patients who expose themselves to the sun, they say about 80% will see their psoriasis improve. But on the other hand, there's about 50% of the psoriasis patients that experience a season-independent disease. However, with a subset of those patients who do better in the summer. Others, again, do better in the winter. So with a few of these having marked worsening in warm periods. You know that psoriasis is a chronic inflammatory autoimmune condition of the skin. It's multifactorial disease associated with a genetic predisposition, health status, numerous environmental factors such as smoking, alcohol, drugs, diet, infections, stress are all known to aggravate psoriasis. So, thus, seasonal influence on psoriasis is likely to be orchestrated by other factors as well, not only the season.
Okay. So I've also heard in the case of atopic dermatitis, many patients tend to improve in the summer months and deteriorate in the winter season. What is your take on this?
So in the winter, the reason for deterioration is decreased humidity and no access to UV radiation from the sun. So some AD patients improve significantly during the summer due to the increase in humidity and access to UV from sun exposure. But others worsen, often due to increased inflammation and pruritus induced by sweating.
And how does this affect recruitment?
So you can understand that our patient database will reflect such variation, right? So participants that meet inclusion criteria for disease extent and severity on a given screening day may no longer qualify a few weeks later for randomization, unfortunately. And interest in trial participation also tends to wane in the summer and increase in the winter in response to a correlation between the severity of the many dermatological conditions and the weather. So patients are looking for solutions and options.
Definitely.
Symptoms are generally more severe in cold, dry seasons. The change that seasons bring can affect patient symptoms, the efficiency of the treatments, regimens, participation rates in clinical trials, and even the validity of trial results.
I see. Now on to lifestyle restrictions. What can you share with our listeners?
Yes, so dermatology protocols often have lifestyle restrictions that must be adhered to. So no excessive sun exposure is often in the exclusion criteria for a number of weeks and also throughout the trial. No swimming. So definitely in the summer, this can affect recruitment. But for when the investigational product is a topical, often the protocols will have a no swimming restriction for a number of hours after application. No strenuous exercise as well is often found for two reasons. One, because there can be a safety lab test, so CK tests that must be performed. And number two is because sweating, excessive sweating. So if you've got an investigational product that's a topical and the patient sweat after having an exercise, that will affect the absorption.
Okay.
A lot of the protocols also have emollient application, so they have to apply regularly every day throughout the trial. It's investigational product application on the skin every day that can affect recruitment. And we also have those alopecia protocols that require no shaving requirement, so that can also affect recruitment.
Okay. Could you expand on the impact of certain study designs on recruitment? Is there a link between the two?
Yes, the nature of the drug and disease and the requirements of the trial can also definitely impact patient motivation. Some patients like the flexibility of traveling, like some of them go away to Florida, for example, for 6 months a year. So drugs that are easy to self-administer are preferential. Studies that require intense PK/PD sampling are more difficult to enroll. They may be easier to recruit when school schedule is on pause during the holidays, for example. Traditional trials require patients to visit the investigator site for all physician interaction. But now we have decentralized trials leverage a variety of digital tools and technologies to enable the completion of the trial tasks that normally involve face-to-face interactions remotely without compromising the efficiency. These are great for phase 4 studies, for quality of life studies, study that focus on symptoms such as pruritus, but this model unfortunately cannot be used for a typical AD and psoriasis trials that we see here at Innovaderm, as evaluation of disease severity within is very difficult for the doctors, and it would be challenging to have FDA approve the use of visual efficacy assessments performed by telemedicine.
So we already discussed the effects of seasonality on recruitment earlier, but what about the effects on retention? How do they interplay?
Yes, so retention is a difficult undertaking in dermatological clinical trials. So long journeys and frequent waiting times are some of the reasons why many participants drop out prematurely. So we suggest using the flexibility of the visit windows that the protocol allows and also extending visit hours.
Excellent. So, Nadine, this brings our episode to an end. Thank you so much for taking the time to be part of this conversation.
Thank you, Valerie.
As we conclude another illuminating episode of Face Forward, we find ourselves at the crossroads of science and progress. Remember that behind the jargon and statistics lie stories of unwavering commitment, meticulous observation, and the pursuit of evidence that shapes our understanding of health and disease. Stay at the forefront of knowledge and innovation and follow Face Forward on your preferred platform. My name is Valerie Kovney. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.